Hello, Jeff Cowan here. Thank you for watching and listening. Well, we're back again with the fifth installment from my new Hump Day training series entitled The New Customer. Now, if you've been watching the last four messages, you know that we've been talking about the new customer and what makes them different and how you should handle them and what you need to know to be successful with them. Today, we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to move into what it is exactly that you need to do, the type of processes, technology, and the like that you need to be successful with this new customer so that you can gain the maximum customer retention, the maximum survey scores, and the maximum sales. So, with that, gather your people around, make sure they've got something to write with and write on, and enjoy the message. But before I let you go, I want to make you aware of something else. I've been getting quite a few emails and telephone calls from people who've been watching this series, but maybe they missed one or two, and they wanted to know where they could go to find the missed messages. Well, it's easy. Simply click the button on the left that says New Hump Day Series, and you'll find all the messages up to this point right there. So with that, enjoy the message and have a great and successful week. See you next time.
Understanding and execution of what we've discussed this far, now this is important, understanding and execution of what we've discussed this far will determine whether or not you will be world class or second class. What we've opened up with here, this new customer, this is the thing that the entire industry is missing. We're still stuck in this mode that if we put a bigger ad out, it's going to excite people. We're still stuck in this mode if we put new technology on the service drive, it's going to excite people. Okay, the one thing everybody's missing is this new customer and what they do. So let's take a look at two things here that's going to make them really want to buy service from you. So first, let's take a look at what determines big. It's going to be displays, it's going to be technology, and it's going to be professional salespeople. You're going to hear me say that many, many times throughout the day, as I'm sure Alan Ram, who is really outstanding, by the way, does great leadership training, does a little bit of telephone training. I'll tell you what, Alan has got the face for telephone training, I'll tell you that much. And then you go, he and I are good friends, okay? Joe Verdi, those guys, Dave Anderson. All right, professional salespeople. So let's take a look at these. Now, these three items will be required for you to deliver big, okay? Will be required. So let me show you what we're talking about here because I don't think a lot of people understand this. Presentation, service and repair versus service and retail. Becoming a service retailer. Now, here's the reason I put this up here, by the way. We got to get out of this mindset of service and repair. You're no longer in service and repair. Service and repair actually died before the recession back in about 2005, 2006. You're no longer in service and repair. You're in service retail. And the more you think like a retailer and hire people like a retailer and get your place set up like a retailer would, the more successful you're going to be. So becoming a service retailer, you're going to need product experts. Now, I'm not talking about somebody who knows your product kind of well or somebody that looks at a customer and says, you know what, if you follow me over here, I'll look it up. I'm not talking about when they have a tablet and these customers and they identify that a customer needs something. They say, well, Mr. Customer, let me look it up on my tablet, and then they stand there and read it to them. That's not a product expert. I'm talking about a product expert that can look it up and hand the tablet to the customer and say, what you're looking at there is this. Here's what it says, here's what it means, here's what it does, and here's why it's important to you. And they've not only memorized all your products, which for a service advisor will take them the better part of a year, if not longer, they've got to memorize their competition's products. Experts. You want to start thinking like Apple. You walk into Apple, they not only know all of their products, they know all the competitors' products, and they can answer any question about it anytime. To become a service retailer, you have to have a master sales staff. And I'm not talking about glorified clerks. I'm not talking just about salespeople. I'm talking about master salespeople. This is what I love about what's going on right now. You see, when I got in retail and I used to work in the mall when I first got into it, everybody was trained. The shoe people were trained. The ice cream people were trained. The clothing stores, those people were all trained clothes. Even the people that worked at the hot dog stand were trained. And they weren't there to sell hot dogs. They were there to sell the lemonade where the real gross profit was. Everybody had word tracks. And then we get into the 80s and 90s, and money's flowing free, the early part of the 2000s, and that all went out the window. We got satisfied with somebody just being a clerk. That's gone. We're talking master salespeople that know how to talk to people and close deals. You will need true retail displays, and you're going to need the latest in technology. All right, so let's take a look at each one of these. The first two we're going to come back to at the end, but let's take a look at this. When do you need this stuff? Now. You're going to be at this convention the next couple days here down the hallway. You need to look for this stuff because this needs to happen right now. You can't wait. What do you need the displays for? All products. It kills me. I walk into service drives. Let's say this is a service drive here. This would be a big service drive, but let's say this is a service drive. And this is what we see. Walls just like this with nothing on them. And I'll look at the dealer and I'll say, why don't you put some displays on there? Why don't you advertise? And they say, because we like a clean look. That's prime retail real estate right there. Now, I don't want it to be cluttered and look bad. You might have to have some experts come in with it to help you out, but you need these for all the products that you have. Where? Everywhere. Again, you don't want it to be cluttered, but wherever you can put them. In the waiting room, on the sales floor. How? Contact your vendors, create your own, hire display experts, or see your manufacturer. But here's a note. Now, I have no problem with the manufacturers. I like them. Matter of fact, I'll tell you this. If one walked in here right now and wanted to hire me, I'd probably say yes. Okay. But be careful when it comes to this product stuff, because they don't got it down. I mean, they don't know. And the stuff they have, they overcharge by thousands of dollars. And I'll show you what I mean here in a second on that point. But here's what I mean. I was working at a store in Las Vegas, a Lincoln store. I walk in. They know I'm there to talk about displays. And they walk me over and say, look, we got these displays before we got here. I said, where'd you get them? And they said, Lincoln. They said, isn't it beautiful? And it was a tire display. And it was set up the good, better, best system. But the problem was they had good, better, and best. I said, who set this up? And they said, well, the rep did from the factory. I said, well, it's backwards. Best should always be eye level, good in the middle, and better in the middle, good on the bottom. So they didn't even know how to set up the display because they don't understand retail at the manufacturer's level. They designed it to look that way because they've never stood on a service drive. They've never sold a car. They build them, but they don't know how to sell them. They don't know how to. They tell you about service, but they've never sold it a day in their life. The only thing that's worse than that is a month later when I went back, the display was still sitting there the same way, even though everybody knew it was wrong. And come on, this is retail, right? Now, why? Because you look more knowledgeable and prepared to help your customers. This is this new customer. They're expecting big. This is what they want to see. You got to think Best Buy. You got to think Target. You got to think Starbucks.